Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on the assembly elections from the Hindu. I am now joined by my colleague Amit Barua, resident editor of the Delhi editions. Thank you very much. My first question to you, if you look at the exit poll results, it seemed, except one exit poll, it seemed as if BJP would sweep these elections, but the results have been quite different. In Haryana, clearly they have struggled to get to that majority mark. It's a hung assembly. And in Maharashtra also, they have barely managed to stay above the majority mark. I mean, the last, when the leads came in, it was about 156, 157, which is not a great number, considering that it's a...
Considering 145 is the magic number there, 146.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're above the majority mark, but it's not a sweep that, that most pollsters had predicted. So, what do you make of these elections results, especially 5 months after the Lok Sabha polls?
Well, I think, Sandeep, that these trends and results, they point to one very clear thing, that people vote differently in the Lok Sabha and the people vote differently in state elections. And we saw this after Modi ji's first government as well. I think what this points to is a certain level of dissatisfaction with incumbent governments, both in Maharashtra and in Haryana. And I think in Haryana, the hung assembly points to a desire for change, that people have voted in a sense against the BJP. The mandate may not have fructified in a very clear fashion, but I think if you combine the votes of the JJP and the Congress put together,
it's a clear vote against the
exactly,
BJP.
Exactly.
But interesting that you said that people vote differently in national elections and state elections, because if you look at the campaign and the pattern, whether it was Prime Minister Modi or Home Minister Amit Shah, all of them have actually been focusing on Article 370 and National Register of Citizens. So very national issues
I think,
were the talking points of this campaign.
I think, Sandeep, that in a sense, those issues probably resonated amongst people when they went to vote 5 months ago for Lok Sabha, whether it was Pulwama, Balakot. I think the BJP and its leadership really struck a chord. But I think when it comes to local issues and governance delivery, if we see even earlier the fact that in 3 major North Indian states, the Congress came to power in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. So all this to me is a sign that people are thinking differently. Who is the best leader or which is the best party to represent us?
Right.
And you also traveled to Haryana on the ground and you saw for yourself. Right. And you did come back with the report that things are not as rosy for the BJP as is being projected perhaps.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I remember telling you that Mr. Huda is no pushover. In fact, if the Congress had not been in such a state of disarray, and if they had taken quick decisions, perhaps appoint Huda a little earlier, and if not...
But in the Congress, it's always a story of ifs and buts,
yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly. So things may have been different. Quite clearly, Ashok Tawar heading the Haryana Congress unit didn't quite work. But look at the number of seat conversion. For example, in 5 months ago, in the Lok Sabha elections, BJP not only won all the 10 Lok Sabha seats in Haryana, they won 79 of the assembly segments. And today they don't have a majority.
But would it be? I'm not quite sure whether it's fair to compare Lok Sabha with Assembly.
No, fair enough.
I mean, it's a bit like comparing apples and oranges.
No, you made that point. Fair enough that people vote differently. Issues were different, most certainly. Here, Mr. Modi was not a contestant. Khattar was. People were voting on the basis of performance of the Manohar Lal Khattar government. Number one. Number two, there was a lot of disenchantment within the Jat community. BJP was clearly missing a powerful Jat leader.
And Sandeep, one other thing which I would like to point to and get your reaction as well. 2 leaders who have emerged from here, Bhupender Singh Huda and Sharad Pawar.
Right.
What do you make of that as far as Indian politics is concerned?
I think it's a very interesting, especially when it comes to Congress, it's a very interesting trend or debate, because so long we've been seeing this old guard versus new guard, and this old the impression being that the older generation of leaders are not making way, and they haven't delivered, but they don't go away from their post. They continue to cling on to their post. But look, they have delivered. Sharad Pawar, that image of Sharad Pawar being drenched and yet,
Or would you say, look at it in a slightly different way, that the people feel differently now, and they're more amenable to taking in a message from opposition leaders, as it were.
Right.
Because the Congress organization or leadership hasn't been great in Haryana either.
Yeah.
But they seem to have been rewarded with almost 15 to 17 seats more than
Yeah,
the
the
previous
last time,
election.
yes.
So I mean, I really don't know whether it's the people who have changed or the party that has improved.
No, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both. People have given a clear message to the BJP that local issues also matter. The Bijli Sarak Pani factor, as we say in assembly elections. The other issue, of course, is that Mr. Huda clearly knows the pulse of the people. He knows the state. He has been two-time chief minister, 10 years continuously chief minister. So clearly he is a much better organization man than Ashok Tawar ever was. In fact, I would say Ashok Tawar, the former Congress chief, spent most of his time only fighting Huda.
Well, I think we'll have to leave it here, Sandeep. Those are our initial thoughts on what's coming out of the Maharashtra and Haryana elections, and there'll be lots more on the Hindu for you to watch and listen. Thank you very much.
Keep watching this space. Keep watching this space.
Thank you very much.